Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. In today's video, we're going to be covering a lot. I mean, we've got Uber news, we've got NVDA news, we've got Google, lots of Google, buy now, pay later news, stablecoin news, crypto news, SoFi news, Robinhood. There'll be a lot. Okay, hopefully everyone's doing well. I think actually our first story is not even going to be one that I listed. Just slipped the mind. This is not a company that I hold, but I continue to look at this business because they just continue to push out more and more press releases like this. Taco Bell introduces PayPal and Venmo as new in-app payment offers or options with exclusive 20% cashback summer offer. Taco Bell. Not a small business. So hopefully they continue to reach out to big brands like this and, connect to their online in-app solutions. Hopefully even, PayPal, the biggest way that they're going to collect a lot of payments for restaurants, stuff like this is, tap to pay. So that'll be one of the biggest unlocks, as well as also having things like cards. Let's see if I can find it, actually. I didn't save it, but I saw this news as well. Alex Chris posted that they put out new Venmo cards that are just sport themed. And I don't know why, but I think that this is going to be huge. I just think the virality of people that want a card that supports their team is going to be something that's popular. And if it's in your wallet, there's a good chance that you actually pay for it or pay with it. So happy to see this and go team. But overall, I really do think that there's going to be something around if you're already using Venmo and, you could support your local team. Cool. Not that anything goes towards those teams or anything. I assume so, or I assume not. Maybe there's some form of a kickback or something like this for licenses for their logo. But aside from that, yeah. SoFi is steadily going up. Yes, sir. No, it's been really good. Let's take a look at the markets really quick because this has been a lot of fun to watch. Here. Boom. Okay. Hims, insane recovery back from what we saw, this massive down 30+% day in the last 5 days. Bang. To now, today, up nearly 12%. Massive recovery. Congratulations to the people that bought the dip. It's a long way to go. If we do get that full recovery, that'll be, a massive return for some people if they can time that. I'm not going to take part in the investment. I can't wait to cover more about what's going to happen between Novo Nordisk and Hims. I'll be a reader. But yeah, Joby, ladies and gentlemen, to the people that have been forced to pick this stock, even though Tevis broke the terms of the agreement and decided not to purchase it, even though he would be making money. Big day for Joby. And I couldn't even tell you why. I don't really follow the company. Nebius, massive day. SoFi 2X leverage fund, massive day. IonQ, big day. Circle, starting to recover from what was an insane high. Remember, we're on the 5-day here, okay? So in the 5-day, it went from 220 up to 300, down to 195, now settling at 217. Crazy, crazy stock. I don't know who's buying it. The volume isn't even that high. Weird name. Oscar Health doing great. Let's continue to look. Chime, that's another IPO name, doing very well. SoFi up 4% today. We're about to break 17. Just steady climbing. Happy. In the last month, we're up 25%. Dead company. What I'm hoping for is that we get back to not an all-time high. I think we hit, $28 or something like this. But in the most recent high, I'm hoping to break 1842. This, in every respect for me, is the all-time high. I've never held higher than this. This is the benchmark that I'm looking to get past. Now, if you actually go further out, 28, 26 is the highest. But this was, new IPO mania, and then this was accumulation phase right here. This is when you had to bang the table and say, buy, buy, buy. After that, Hopefully we've broken out somewhere here. A lot of this is interest rate, catastrophes, student loan moratoriums, really kicking in there. But now starting to see some healthy recovery. This is a stock worth buying. We're not heading back into single digits. It's not going to happen. So, yeah. Lemonade 42.80. I don't think there's anything too much that we're going to cover today. Uber was a big one. We'll have to talk about that. And then if I could just get Robinhood and Google, and then we'll wrap it up. Alphabet right there. 174.40, or sorry, 174.20. The goal to beat 208, ladies and gentlemen. I think it deserves a price over $200 a share. Let's talk about it. So, why don't we jump right into Google, actually? So Google did a couple of different news reports today. One, they're launching an AI function to actually put into individual cells on Google Sheets to say, oh, help fill in this, or look over across these other cells and put in what you think would be the appropriate formula that associates with these numbers, right? So essentially bringing Gemini directly into the cells of Google Sheets, it's a great first start. There's been services like this before that were extensions on, Google, but not exactly for free or Google designed anything like this. So as a Sheets nerd, Google Sheets nerd, I'm happy with this. Now, sorry. Call from the wife. If she calls back, I got to take it. But I don't know that she knows if I'm live. Okay. Google also put out this pretty interesting product here, which is just showing off the strengths of what AI can do rather than how actually useful it is. But use Gemini 2.5 Pro in the Gemini app to turn random videos from your camera roll into dramatic narrative. Try it yourself. Go here, put in your video, and watch the magic happen. Right? Very cool. But obviously, it's not going to be too useful. It's not going to change people's workflow, anything like this. But it is still pretty cool. And that's all that we're going to continue to push out small incremental changes. There was a recent podcast actually that I was listening to from Brad Gerstner and Bill Gurley that had, what's his name, Kevin Wheel on, and he's one of the OpenAI senior project managers. And he was talking about how the models that we're using today, like it's really hard to fathom that these are the worst that you're going to use for the rest of your life, right? That unless something dramatic changes, these are going to be some of the largest and most important technological changes that we have. And we're essentially starting at base level right now. These are the early phone designs. This is the Razor flips and the, stuff like this that, really we start on and we build from there. So, yeah, really, really looking forward to how artificial intelligence not only changes personal lives, just changes the world in general. And we, as investors, have an unbelievable opportunity to invest in these changes. It's so weird. Like, go back to the early mobile days, go back to the early cloud days, and look for the companies that were dominating back there and ask yourselves if you'd like to invest in those. It's pretty freaking exciting, And so that's sort of what we have here. The ability to bet on companies. You don't need to bet on individual names or individual brands. You can bet on the infrastructure. You can bet on ETFs. You can bet on any other way to sort of help diversify or add safety to your portfolio. But we're in the early innings of something that's probably going to be a multi-decade phase. Let's talk about another thing that makes NVIDIA a good investment. AlphaSense is, as far as I understand it, is a company that's run by my friend Rahard Jacques that they interview a lot of people and share their DD, and they also do other products as well. But let's share some of this DD from this recent interview that they did. A current high-level employee at the robotics company, talks about humanoid AI and how NVIDIA dominates this space. According to him, the industry has shifted everyone to trying to pump up reinforcement learning based on techniques and other machine learning techniques that don't really require the same math as before for robot movements. Okay, guys, I can already see it. Some days the brain's functioning. Today it's slow. I don't know why I'm stuttering over my words. I apologize. Anyway, the industry is running. You see? It should not have been the day that I decided to read. The industry is running massive simulations instead, and the results tend to be really good. The software stack is different from what it was years ago, and it is more training heavy in terms of inference time. Dude, I don't know why I cannot read today. You're using a significantly higher number of GPUs than CPUs and have more data-intensive pipeline. In his view, NVIDIA is putting out so many tools for free to help scale up this industry. He believes that NVIDIA benefits regardless as people use their hardware. The trend he sees is that the barriers to entry in this industry are decreasing as more and more open source software becomes available, and it becomes easier to distill bigger models into smaller ones that you need to use. He thinks the notion of the moat being defined as a data flywheel is not holding up. Currently, it is a matter of who will be the fastest, as everyone else will be catching up at that increasing rate. In his view, in the future, there is a chance that some companies will decide they use someone else's software and just build the hardware for the humanoid robotics. Essentially, what I planned on doing there, rather than stuttering over every single word, it's just slow, foggy brain day today, is that NVIDIA, through CUDA X libraries, are offering free tools to help, one, simulate a lot of actual robot movements, situations, stuff like this that you can put them in. They are going to train on that simulated data, okay? And then hopefully come out better on the other side. On the other hand, because those companies are so reliant on those free tools and reliant on the actual software stack or the tools that NVIDIA offers them, they will continue to buy NVIDIA chips because that's where they run on, okay? So my main reason for being so bullish on NVIDIA is, one, like I just said earlier, we're seeing the biggest change in artificial intelligence right now, in human behavior, in workflows, in automating different work, and the productivity is insane. You're seeing Salesforce come out today saying that like 30 to 50% of the work that they do in their office is done all for artificial intelligence. Meta has come out and said some unbelievably high, like 60 to 70% of the code that they do is artificial intelligence. And this is with the worst models that you could possibly imagine right now. That's what we have today. Okay. So scale this out over the last 3 years, see how much this has improved. Let's imagine a slowing of breakthroughs, which would usually happen. You're still going to see massive breakthroughs over the next 3 years. And there's one company, really, one company that is supplying a lot of the software that ends up going into some of these developments and hardware. And that's NVIDIA. They just hit $3.8 trillion of market cap. They're by far the biggest company in the stock market. And we've been here for a very long time. Dookie Pie, new member, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey guys, thank you. Appreciate you guys getting through this terrible reading. Tanner, when talking about AI, you smile because of your NVIDIA. I smile because it's going to change the world, and I love change like that. I think technological advancement has made my life a lot easier. I'm sure it's made a lot of other people's lives very easy. So as that continues to compound, I see more and more, good benefits from that. I am a robot trying to trick you guys. If I was a robot, though, I would have read a lot better than that. Dookie, thanks again. Sorry if I didn't already say thanks. Kevin's really heavy into AMD. Nice. That's awesome. Tech will allow you to auto read an article. Honestly, I can read it I read the whole article like a freaking hour ago, maybe a little longer than that. But just sometimes whenever you have to read out loud, it either works fine or it's an absolute disaster. It's been a very long day though. I've been working all day. So I'm really starting to slow down. It's definitely not a good benefit probably to, do a lot of your live streams and everything that you have to perform in without any cuts at the end of the day whenever things are starting to wind down. But whatever. I like this time slot. Any thoughts on Lemonade? Not really. There's a couple KPIs that Lemonade can be distilled down to, and until those start to turn more profitable, I'll kind of stay away from that. But I do think that more tech, more AI, more of these things will revolutionize existing industries. But I think a lot of people think that the big insurance companies are sitting on their hands and doing nothing. And that, from my understanding, because I was slightly in that industry, all they do is AI. Like, that's the whole thing. So, potentially Lemonade can do great things and they continue to grow. But I don't know enough about them to make a honest bet on them. Tariq says too much competition in the insurance industry. So yeah, I mean, the same thing, like, I feel like if I didn't know SoFi well, I would say the same thing about fintechs and banking. So that's why I only remain very cautious to say, can Lemonade do it or not? Well, wow. Dookie, thank you, brother. Or sister. I actually don't 100% know. Appreciate the 10 gifted. Congratulations to the 10 people that got the membership there. But I feel like I would say a similar thing if it was SoFi that I didn't have a clue on, and I was an NVIDIA, or I was a Lemonade shareholder. So we'll see. Speaking of SoFi, getting back to SoFi, because we talked about it all yesterday and their mind-blowing potential for getting into global payments, which might actually be powered by Bitcoin instead of traditional ETH or Solana, because these are the comments that Anthony Noto said. I didn't even pick up on it. I just thought, I heard Bitcoin and I just thought crypto. They talked about stable coins already, but who knows? Anyway, this is the big rush. We saw Coinbase come out with their global commerce. They've been talking about payments for a long time. They created Base. They are talking about using USDC on Base, make free payments. Kraken today just launched Crack. Crazy name. Where essentially they are doing a global payment. Do they have any images here? They're doing a global payment space similar to Coinbase or PayPal or Wise or Remitly, anything like this, where they're using stable coins to pay people. My understanding here, the more I watch this and how fast all of these companies are entering now that they actually have the regulation to go in and do this, from the larger, from the United States, which is by far the customers with the highest amount of actual assets under management, that Visa and MasterCard, I'm going to really watch out for. The traditional remittance-based global payments companies, Western Digital, PayPal to some degree, this is a threat. Because right now, this is only a couple companies, but if you start seeing every single business do this, this will become the new norm. Let's actually see Western Digital. I have not followed this company in so long. Not Western Digital. I'm thinking of Western Union, not Western Digital. That's yeah, Western Digital. I'm thinking of Western Union, which over the last little bit has not been the greatest investment. This is over a 5-year time span, but this is a very old company. Actually, it has not been public as long as I thought it had been. But anyway, it continues to fall. I don't imagine anything good from that company. Yeah. Okay. MasterCard will just facilitate a stablecoin. Yeah, I mean, they could potentially compete. I'm not saying that they won't. It's just, why would someone need MasterCard versus using a different company? And if it's a race to the bottom, or even MasterCard, like, let's imagine, some people also think like, okay, let's imagine they make this, they have the same market share. Okay. And we'll say Visa and MasterCard made up for 80% of the market. Whenever you look at that, you can say, okay, well, we're going from a place from traditional payment rails to stable coins, and maybe Visa and MasterCard will hold up their 80%. Great. But the take rate is going to get so competitive that now they're making 15% of what they were making before. Okay, well, if you're an investor of MasterCard and Visa before, and they're bringing in revenue and profits that were 15% or more of the same industry, and maybe global payments skyrockets, maybe they double, triple, 4x what they were before, because the cost of global payments has gone down so much, and the instant settlement has increased the usability. Well, 15% times 4 is still not 80. So, you're at 60% of where you were. Or, well, you've lost 20%. That's the problem. It's like, even if they do as good as they were before, they could still be lowering the margin, because stablecoins are just, you can't charge as much. Stablecoins are cheaper and faster versus Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't know Bitcoin very well, nearly as well as I know stablecoins, but the Lightning Network proves to be pretty quick. And from what I heard, there's other payment companies, because I made a whole post about this online, and I was like, how's this even possible? And there were a lot of crypto people that came out of the woodworks that said, actually, there's a lot of companies do it. And the Bitcoin is held for like such a millisecond of time that the fluctuation in price doesn't even matter. Of course, I of course think that Visa and MasterCard, most of the large companies, if you're getting past $100 billion, even younger than that, but they're not going to just sit on their hands and watch themselves die. Of course not. It's just whether they can move fast enough to demand the same level of premium that we did in the last 5 years. Does that make sense? That's the only problem that I see. SoFi 1690 overnight. Thank you. That's awesome. Let's hit 17. Let's hit 17. What do you think about TSM? I mean, they're better placed than NVDA, but NVIDIA has high margins. But TSM's not going anywhere. If that makes sense. I think TSM is safer. I think NVIDIA has more upside. It introduces unpredictability in their future cash flows, which was never a problem for MasterCard or Visa before. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm serious. Tanner better give those guys the business. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting whenever a company goes up by essentially 40% without new earnings. What is that called in your world? I mean, that's called multiple expansion to me, you know? So I'm happy with it. We knew it was going to happen though. Like it would, well, I mean, not all of us. I certainly knew it was going to happen. I didn't know when, but SoFi stock was going to go up. What's it called? Roy just shared a screenshot with me just now showing off that PayPal is 13th highest in the App Store in just all of the App Store, not finance, in the United States. He also said, along with that, I don't know if you can see my cat. I got to let him out of this room here. 1 second. But that's the highest he's seen PayPal in the free apps section on the App Store. 1 second. Okay. He's a cute guy. The cat. Not Roy. Roy's a cutie too. I don't care about anything about these companies. I want to make money. I think in the stock market, or at least the way that I invest, I look as if I'm buying businesses. It's a classic Warren Buffett quote, but I think that it's one that is not like a cliche. It's like one that should very much be taken seriously. And honestly, I believe that with a lot of Warren Buffett quotes. I don't think, but I find sometimes whenever you say that you're quoting somebody, that it's like something that you're not supposed to do or something. I often quote people who are much better than me at things. It helps me, learn quick, justify actions, stuff like this. So, in the words of Warren Buffett, don't look at buying small percentages of businesses. Act as if you're purchasing the whole business. And in that sense, I think that understanding the whole business is a very important part. I wouldn't want to own a business that's shrinking. I'm not looking to buy newspaper companies or stuff like this that are slowly getting replaced by better tech. I want to buy the best tech because that's my best way of pricing that the future is to my favor, not against me, right? So if I'm buying, if Google split into a bunch of different companies and I could buy YouTube, I would bet heavily on that because I think YouTube's growing over time. A large percentage of what I do is to further YouTube's success and YouTube furthers my success or whatever. So I think that try to focus on companies that you actually care about rather than just trying to make money. Because I think the people that's how you often get lost in markets and people try to get rich quick and they try to do contracts over owning equity or trying to do all these things that can squeeze out additional gains that end up getting a lot of people caught. Tempted by AMD, Tanner? Not really. I mean, it's gone up roughly the same percentage as NVIDIA. So I'm very happy holding NVIDIA here. But that can change or like it's to each his own preference, I guess. Buying the best usually ends well, 100%. Just trying to make money ends poorly. JTB, you know me. So you hope to do YouTube full time? I don't know what you would consider I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. I quit my job a long time ago, sold my book of business, and have been a happy camper since. It's not just this, though. I mean, investing is the largest part, but if you can do both, I mean, that's why I got into YouTube, right? Was like, okay, I'm not monetizing my research. So how can I share my research and benefit as a dividend as well. So, YouTube pays me, and I'm talking about stocks, and I'm growing a community, and then that community brings me stocks, and then, there's been a lot of times where people in the chat have brought me stocks that I've purchased that have been amazing. Like Shift4 was a community picked company. Adyen, Nubank. What else? There's been a bunch. Those are all because of the community that we've gained. So, yeah. What did you do? I was actually a financial advisor, but none of this is financial advice. Yeah, I barely get up before 9, so it's the luxury that I get to live doing this, I guess, is I get to pick the schedule. Do you have any SoFi price targets by end of year? It's the same as it always is. I mean, 20 to 25, let's get it. Well, I'm happy to bring you joy. Thank you. You got to be live 8 hours a day like Amit to be considered a full-time YouTuber? Yeah, I hate the word YouTuber, but yeah. JJ, good to see you, man. What's up, buddy? In Google, I struggle. They're super smart, best tech, etc. But 61% of their earnings comes from search. We can't imagine that business. We can't imagine what that business looks like 5 years from now. To underwrite the stock today is simply a guess. I don't see a way around that. Well, yeah, I mean, I think to underwrite any company 5 years out that's in tech or a high disruptive area is mainly guessing. But what I would say is that I think Google search as the algorithm will be replaced. I think the place that people go whenever they open up their browser, it's still going to be Google Chrome. It's still going to be all those places. And the first thing that's going to open up, in my opinion, will be Gemini. Okay. And in that case, Google has a pretty not irreplaceable, but strong moat of already having the entire world's internet usage already there. And they're slowly starting to convert them to AI overviews, AI mode, Google, the Gemini app, right? So I think that is really what's, going to be to their benefit. And I don't think that search is going to die as fast as people think. But hey, if you don't see the benefits in Google, I think one of the best things to do is don't buy it. Like, we don't have to take bets on every company up or down. If you're unsure, walk away. That's no problem. We'll cover other companies. We'll talk about a bunch. And by the way, we still do need to talk about more news. I haven't talked about enough. Data-driven investing showed this SoFi piece here that I thought was actually quite interesting. I never would have expected this to come out. SoFi is now giving a bonus for linking external accounts to Relay. Turn up the heat. Get a chance to win $20,000. Link an external account to better understand your finances and open the doors to your ambitions. Enter by August 31st, 2025. Now, this is how essentially I look at that. 20K for SoFi is nothing. It's seriously not even a cat cost, really. What they're going to try to do here is bring in a ton of new external accounts. They get to learn from that data. If you're bringing in Schwab accounts, if you're bringing in mortgages or other things like this, other credit cards, other debt products, then they will try to monetize that data by offering you a potential loan, and they'll be able to offer you that loan because they'll know that they beat your rate because they'll know what you have because you link that account. Okay. So data is the precious oil here. That's where all the money comes from. It's liquid gold or digital gold, whatever you want to call it. It was a bad example. But that's essentially what they're willing to pay to try to collect. And obviously having a bunch of more relay accounts doesn't hurt for top funnel, for cross sell, for all that stuff. So happy. SoFi new highs coming. I mean, the market wants it. Like the market is headed higher. Like that's for sure. Some people might say it's froth. Some people might say it's worth it. We're at a point of such unlocks of productivity and growth that deserves to push to all-time highs. Not every time that stocks hit all-time highs does that mean that it needs to sell off. Potentially, it is justified. Yeah, gaseous gold. It's frothy. Yeah. I can't call how high the market's going to go. Obviously not. But it can get more extreme than this. This is not all-time high multiples. I mean, it's all-time high share prices, but we've had actual earnings to back that up. So whenever we look at the S&P 500, like trailing PEs, we're still not at massive spikes. We're near heights here, okay? But it's not spiking like it was in 2001, like it was before massive sell-offs here. So nothing's looking scary right now. Do you do covered calls, Tanner? Yes, actually. I just did a bunch on NVIDIA today. 170s? One sec, let me check. 170s, 15 days out. I keep it pretty risk adverse. I'm not trying to time things. Let's see. 170s for July 11th. Yeah. Get paid to hold shares. Tanner, would you be comfortable with your current portfolio if you weren't allowed to make another trade for 1 year? 100%. I am the guy that like this will always be my answer. I don't trade. You know, every single one of my companies, I'm betting on a very long-term future. The only time I've ever done that was like PayPal and stuff, and I sweated it at night. So I'm back to an entire portfolio of holding things that I feel like is, you know, how do I say this? There was a quote really recently. I love this. Here, wait, let me see if I can try to find it. Jared Isaacman put out this amazing, eye-opening tweet. And he actually bashed a lot of the potential businesses that I hold. But I still like it, and he's willing to have his own opinion. I'll have mine, but still, I like it as a framework for investing. Met with many aerospace and nuclear startups over the past 6 months. If we fast forward 20 years, I bet many of the top tech companies will have been founded by alums of one particular space company. I wonder which one that is, eh? SpaceX. That'll be a big win for our national competitiveness. And then this part, the legacy primes aren't taking humanity anywhere interesting anytime soon. And I like this as a way of suggesting what will be the top tech companies in the future will be bet on where they're taking humanity into the future. I think that's a pretty easy win. So, or a pretty easy framework. So I'm going to continue to bet on companies that are taking humanity somewhere. Crypto, AI, digitizing traditionally pen and paper work. Those are doing things for humanity. I'm not looking for quick dollars. I mean, sometimes I do. Sometimes I look for companies because they're cheap. But overall, you could say that NVIDIA is expensive, but it remains the large percentage of my portfolio, mainly due to, the work that it's actually doing in changing the world. All right. Now, if the rest of my portfolio wasn't doing so well, we'd be getting to NVIDIA at like 50% of my portfolio. So we'll have to trim some soon. I'm not going to let it get past 50%. Dropped it. I'm not going to let it get past 50%. So I will trim the gains as it gets past. But so far, I mean, you cannot say that was not a good call. Like, that was freaking very, very happy. You're all smart people. I don't belong here. For real, yo. Okay, well, no, but I don't actually think it has anything to do with smarts. I'm like, you listen to a lot of people. I don't think I rank near the top. But whenever you think about the future, I like, if something can be done faster, if it's more efficient, if it's easier to use, something along these lines, there's like a high guarantee that will become the case. Like robots, yeah, they don't work very well. But what makes anyone possibly think that they're not going to be able to solve that problem? Like even FSD for Tesla, there's been a lot of people, probably a lot of people in this chat. It's a pretty common thing that I've just never believed, that they're not going to be able to solve FSD. Like they'll never be able to solve it. Guys, the roads don't change, okay? But it has gotten better. They have made significant increases in their ability to stop having to disengage FSD. Like miles per disengagement has gone way, way up. What makes you think that they're not going to be able to solve that problem? I don't think that takes IQ. I just think that takes common sense. And the roads don't change. I mean, like, okay, sure, there's new roads, but I mean, since I've been born, there's been a yellow or white line in the center. There's been lanes on each side. The size of cars have remained relatively the same. It's like a problem that a computer will be able to solve. There are new roads. You're right. There are new roads, and they pave those roads constantly. That's not what I'm saying. And then people say, "Oh, you can't do it with cameras." Like we're actively doing it with vision products. Like people drive and have like the response time to go from your brain or your eyes to your brain down to your hands is something like 13 milliseconds. Computers can do it in 1 millisecond. So why to me, it's always been clear that that's definitely going to happen. Like 100%. Humanoid robotics, a 100% chance of happening. The only thing that ever slows technology down in that case is regulation, is governments coming in and saying, But in humanoid robotics, in artificial intelligence, what I find so unique is that it's a government race. These are such powerful tools that if you say, oh, well, our population can't use it, well, then China takes the lead. And yeah, sure, we have all of our great, human labor jobs, but a lot of the productivity and the buying power, because all the software sales and everything goes over to China, all ends up in other people's pockets. So we can't stop developing this technology. It will continue to go further and further. That's a very NVIDIA argument. Well, I mean, sure, I agree. Maybe maybe I listen to Jensen too much. But a lot of my investing style is just, hey guys, just think about it for a second, okay? Like every day, there's these strong CEOs that go to work and they want to make the largest companies in the world. This is also what I hated about whenever people are like, oh, Noto doesn't have it, Vlad has it, and here's why Vlad has it, or something like this. It's like, why? Because he wants to make the biggest company in the world, or the biggest fintech company in the world. You don't think every other CEO wants to be the biggest fintech company in the world? You don't think Chime has those same goals? Of course they do. Just because someone wants something doesn't mean that they get something. But anyway, I'm actually going on a different topic right now, but I've always had a problem with people that say like the want of a CEO determines whether they get it or not. Vlad is hungry. Yeah, I'm aware, but I don't actually. I think a lot of CEOs are extremely, extremely wanting of a goal. I think the problem is usually managed. Most goals for CEOs now is just hiring the managers that manage employees. And so Vlad is hungry, but I think what actually has set him apart is being able to see the quality in his hires, because you're only as good as the people that you hire. I mean, if there's 4,000 or 5,000 people in your employment, one person's work ethic is pointless, even if it is Vlad's or Anthony Noto's or something like this. So that's why I think people have had problems with like Jeremy Rischel and stuff like this. Like, obviously, Anthony Noto at the end of the day is doing a very great job. But if he's put someone in the role to do a good job and people don't believe in him, well, then the ship still, has a problem. I was going to say sinks, but it's not going to sink. It's just potentially not going to take off at the same speeds as Hood would. I think maybe the biggest problem that SoFi has that Robinhood does not is like Robinhood. This is another thing. Let's use our heads together. Let's look at a trend of products. Robinhood has put out products, commission-free brokerage. Since day one, since they've launched that, it's been a viral product. Like, I mean, if you go back and listen to his interviews, he did an alum speech all the way back in like 2016 or something. They put it out just as a test, and it went viral on Hacker News. Like, it was an instant success. Okay. Then the commission-free options, the credit card was super viral. The predictions market, all the products that they use, not all of them, but there's a handful of products that they put out that go viral, that spread word of mouth. If we go to think about what SoFi makes, which I think are great products, okay, they're among the best, but they're never the absolute best where it goes viral. Maybe student loans. Student loans had some level of virality amongst a small audience, but they've never quite have seen the virality like Vlad's products have. If you were to think over the next 5 years, do you think Hood will be able to replicate and put out another product that people go, oh my gosh, we need to share this on social media because it's the next best thing? Or do you think that SoFi does that next? Because if I were to be a betting man, I'd say it's Hood, because the trends have shown that Hood has done that over and over and over, and SoFi has not done that. Not an oracle. I'm just saying what has happened. I think SoFi is going to do great, by the way. I think they're going to do great, but it'll be from a different strategy. It'll be from good paid marketing, good overall products, good unit economics. And in fact, I could say fantastic unit economics, where Robinhood actually, I would say, suffers from that. Like Robinhood being profitable is questionable for all of their products. Commission-free equities. How do you make that work? That was a big question. Their credit card. How do you make that work? How does that work? The crypto, the options, all of these products, people go, how are they making that profitable? That's questionable. No one questions if SoFi is going to make, well, I mean, they did before, but those were stupid people. Like, SoFi has always had a profitable strategy. Then SoFi is due? They're absolutely not due. SoFi is not deserved anything. SoFi has to go out and get that, right? And so, like, if we're just looking at the trends and we see a new product, like, I don't know, a bunch of companies are going to come out and offer crypto, okay? Or digital payments or something like this. Who is going to price lower? Is it going to be Robinhood or is it going to be SoFi? SoFi could come out and offer really cheap crypto. But, excuse me, historically speaking, if you were to look at every product that SoFi has ever done, they have placed themselves in the top 10% of pricing for everything. For the credit cards, they're a really, really good credit card. Not the best. They're, a really good checking account APY. Not the best. Insanely good personal loans in terms of pricing, APR, not the best. Okay. Constantly over and over and over and over and over. It's very well balanced. It's a perfect all-in-one strategy. It's an awesome company. But the way that Robinhood does it is that they always say, okay, well, how do we price to be the best in the top 1%, not top 10%? Now, that questions margins, but they've been able to hold that up as well. But no, but like Clarence, SoFi is talking like this because he didn't draft SoFi. I understand that not everyone agrees with the sentiment that I'm putting out, but like, I have more SoFi than I do Robinhood. Okay, but are we not looking at the same products? Like we can see that. What part of what I'm saying do you disagree with? I think SoFi will do great. They will. I'm betting on their future. The loan platform business, fantastic. Okay. They are going to be like the Goldman Sachs, the Morgan Stanley of the future. They're going to own an insane amount of customers. They're going to own capital markets. They're going to own a ton of financial digital infrastructure. I could see them even acquiring a crypto company to set up, crypto and digital payments into the future, stuff like this. They're going to do great. But whenever it comes to consumer products, they do not aim. I'm not saying they couldn't. They could have a 3% credit card. They could price the same way that Robinhood does. Even more aggressive because they have a bank charter. Okay, so Robinhood has to partner with other companies and give them their cut. SoFi doesn't need to do that for a lot of their operations. And even then, SoFi's strategy is that they can take a little bit more. You think they're giving you 3.8% because they have to? No, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy because banks all the way down here offering you 0% APR or APYs on your checking accounts, that's greed, okay? Robinhood offering you 4%, that's not greed, okay? Because they know that they're going to win it elsewhere. They want your whole bank account, and they want you to come from JP Morgan to Robinhood, not greedy. SoFi is offering you 3.8% with a bank charter. Compared to 0%, that's not greed. Compared to 4%, that is greed. They think that they can squeeze out a larger margin from 3.8% than they could 4%. They could offer you 4%. They're not going to because they want 0.2%. I'm not breaking anyone's heart by saying that. That is just factually the truth. They're increasing their unit economics. They know that they've seen that whenever it's at 4% and they lower it down to 3.8%, that no one stops direct depositing, or at least a nominal amount of people. They don't lose customers. They found a sweet spot. But they're not trying to offer you as much as they can, because then it wouldn't be as amazingly of a profitable business. Do you think that SoFi will hit $30 end of year? The only way that I think it's going to do something like that would be a large amount of rate cuts that are in their favor. Something like, 3 this year would be nice. For SoFi specifically is what I mean. Timed out in a decent manner. You'd need to see some sort of ability for them to sell and refill their books at a constant rate. Some sort of viral product would be nice. Another way for them to gain like 1 million plus members per quarter. All those things would be nice. Short squeeze. I don't even know what SoFi's shorts are at recently. I haven't even checked that in a while. Let's see. How did you learn about cash or covered calls, let's just say? When did you get into it? I have a lot of shares of SoFi. So I've got quite the fair share of SoFi shares as well. And the premiums on SoFi suck. I mean, it's just god awful right now. I mean, maybe the volatility will increase on the stock, but lately it's been sucky. Now, that being said, I've got a great group of friends. Amit, Chris, Roy, Tevis, all these guys Steve, all these guys have helped me along the way. And I was a very slow learner. So, yeah. Options in crypto next quarter will take it to 30, in my opinion. Okay, James, how much is options in crypto going to make for SoFi and change the amount of money that they make? Because I get a lot of audience from other YouTubers that I think are more pumpy, that share things that I don't agree with, and they back it by less facts than I think I would hold myself to. So why do you think that these two, in my opinion, absolutely tiny products would bring SoFi up to $30? Can I show you? Because we have options right now. You're talking about level 1 options, which is a function of the total options revenue that like Robinhood would make. Okay. And whenever you look at Robinhood's total amount of earnings, a large percentage, like I don't even know what it is last quarter, 60% was transactional based revenue. So all the things that happen at SoFi Invest, in Robinhood's brokerage side, like adding crypto, adding options, that makes huge changes to their earnings. Let me show you a couple slides just so you can put into perspective how big SoFi Invest is to SoFi. That's all of SoFi Invest. That includes the equities, that includes the options, that's everything. Now, I went as far as to take the same out of all the transactional based revenue and brokerage revenue that Robinhood makes, how much of that is crypto? And last quarter is about 40%. Okay. 40%. Well, actually, it was 20% of total revenue. For SoFi, it's like 3%. Just to put it into perspective, actually, it's probably less than that. It's probably 0.3%. Let's go ahead and I'll show you what I mean. Sorry, that's how much SoFi Invest as a percentage makes up. 1.3% of all revenue last quarter. This is if we added brokerage at the same percentage, or if we added crypto at the same percentage that Robinhood does crypto. What are we talking about here? You say stock prices are all perception. Example, the one company out of the multi-thousand businesses that you picked that has the highest margin of any other public tech company in the world. That's the example that you brought up. I don't want to be insulting to you, James. I do think you're wrong, but I do also think that you're quite new to investing. The price appreciation that Palantir has had is not normal. I don't think that the Palantir bulls, excluding that one guy that said that it was going to 100x whenever it hit $100, so he wants it to get to $10,000 a share or whatever the heck he said, that happens often. So I do think that they could get to $30, but it will be from the loan platform business. It'll be from personal loans. It'll be from mortgages. That's where SoFi makes all of its money. Like all of it. You know? It's like the 80-20 rule. And options in crypto are going to make a sliver on their earnings to a part where I had to change the colors of it because it's hard to even see how much crypto is going to make a difference in their earnings. Now, if you want to see the way that I broke all this down, I mean, I did a whole video on it. You can see all of SoFi's members, the total amount of invest accounts. This is how much they make on SoFi Invest. So like last quarter is 7 million, which was a bombshell awesome quarter. Usually it's under 6 million. 6 million a quarter. Okay. These are the same percentages that Robinhood makes as a percentage of total brokerage earnings. So like last quarter is 43%. So I added 43% onto 7 million. Okay, so I kept all the percentages the same. The quarter before this, Q4, was like 53% or something like that. So I added that as the same percentages. So assuming SoFi immediately takes off, right? It doesn't even make a dent. And I'm like, I don't want to look to be a bully here or anything like. I'm not like, this is all for like, so then we can all be on the same page and we can try to change each other's minds. But the real thing of why crypto should be exciting is one, cross sell. So if people are or stickiness as well. If people are looking to add crypto, they could potentially look to get off of SoFi's platform to go to Robinhood because they have more, you know, opportunity at a place like that. So that's why data-driven investing. He used to trade on SoFi Invest and then took all of his assets, which I don't know what he's worth, but you know, he would be a great customer to have. Okay. He took it off SoFi Invest to bring it over to what was I going to say? Robinhood. So Robinhood won over Chris Hager, data-driven investing. We don't want that to happen. Yeah. Okay, perfect, James. I'm glad. Thank you. But so I think that things like this is another thing too. Like you don't even see people talk about like interest only personal loans and stuff like this. Those are the products that are actually going to like change SoFi, like for real change it. If you can add on an extra 1,000 loans, like you're talking about adding like so much more money per quarter. Because then you get the origination of that loan, you get all the interest, you get the selling of that loan. It's thousands and thousands of dollars per loan. Future investing. Why is there a wait list for SoFi crypto? Isn't it as simple as reopening the platform, which they've offered before? So I actually spoke to a SoFi Invest employee about that. He said, our platform is nothing like it was whenever we had it before. Like they're on new code. They're on like, so they have to modernize the code base in order to launch it to even work the same. So actually, no. I thought it was more like what you're saying, but it wasn't quite the same way. SoFi will be 10x when Tanner uses SoFi Invest to Trade. I mean, it definitely will be quite higher, I would assume. They would be in Canada. They would be, yeah. That'll be a good place. Now, we still will get level 1 options. We still will get crypto. These are all great ads. It takes nothing away from the business. It only is additive to the business. And plus, like 3 million extra per quarter, I'll take it. Like, I've got no problems with it. Maybe it deepens wallet share for customers. You know. But ladies and gentlemen, we've done 1 hour and 5 minutes. I haven't even dinner yet. So, why do you think people keep asking about options in crypto? Well, I just think as investors, the people who are asking those questions constantly, like say Technologies or something where they're doing like shareholder Q&As, those are exclusively investors. Those, like, their primary product that they would associate SoFi with is SoFi Invest. They're not doing a Q&A with personal loan holders. They're not doing a Q&A for student loans or mortgage customers. So the products that we want as investors are those products. You know, like, I think those are just selfish asks. The same thing of like whenever people say, hey, when dividend or something like this. It's like SoFi actually offering a dividend is so clearly not what you'd want it to do. But people go, hey, when am I going to get paid? Like, when can I start seeing some cash from this investment? So I think it's a little bit different. Level 1 options in crypto, though, will create a better environment for SoFi Invest users. I think that's true. Thanks, man. Go eat. I will. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. Check out my latest video. I just did a whole video on Tom Lee's latest and favorite stock. Bye for now.